In this screencast, I'm going to walk you through the syllabus for Introduction to Information Science for summer 2014. Up here you will see my name, Shelley Moore, and here's my email address, and here are my office hours. And I'm located in the multi-purpose building in room 207. If you do want to come see me, just make sure that you send me an email ahead of time to make sure that I am there at the time you need me to be there. I'm not going to read all of this to you, as I am confident you can read it yourself. I just want to point out that this is in fact an 8-week course. So most of our courses are 16 weeks, so we have these fast semesters in the summer. We do cover the same amount of content that we would cover in a 16-week class, which means it is fairly intense. There is a lot of work that you have to do, and you probably have to spend more time than you're thinking you will need to. So please keep that in mind as you are putting time aside for this class. This first week will give you a pretty good idea of how much work each week is going to be and how much time you need to set aside. The course begins on June 1st and ends July 26th. All weekly content will open up on Saturday mornings and will close 9 days later on Sunday at midnight. And you can see the schedule for more detail on when things are due. In this class, we will be covering Office 2013, and I will fix that. Sorry about that. That isn't 2010 anymore. We have moved since last fall to 2013, so you do want to make sure that you have that software. This next section is just going to talk about computer literacy. In order to graduate from the College of Western Idaho, you do have to meet a computer literacy requirement. You can do this a couple of different ways. You can do this by taking the CSA exams at the testing center. You can also take CISA 101. But if you are in fact a business student, it is required for your business degree to take this particular class, BUSA 215, and that does meet that computer literacy requirement for graduation. So that's what this just talks about. This next section will talk about the variety of things that we are going to cover and the skills we're going to learn. We're going to cover some general technology, basic internet and email, and then of course we have Word, Excel, Access, and PowerPoint, and we will also cover website creation quickly there at the end. The book you need to have is the Go book, Office 2013 Volume 1. And you can use this, you can either buy this in the bookstore or you can get the e-text, so you can buy directly online if you would like. Now you do need to have access to Office 2013. And not only do you have to have access to Office 2013, you have to have the professional edition or the university edition. What they're selling in the bookstore is the university edition. It does cover everything you need to have. What you want to check for is that it includes Access. The confusing thing is if you buy it at the bookstore, it doesn't say Access on the cover, but it does in fact include Access. It can be a little bit confusing, so sorry about that. Make sure you have Office that will work for this class. If you do not, you are welcome to use any of the computer labs at CWI. All of the computer labs include all the software that we need to have. Now, if you are a Mac user, I'm sorry you will not be able to complete everything for this course on your Mac. Macs only have Office 2011. They do not have Office 2013. The grader projects and the exams are the two things you cannot get full credit for. Everything else in the class you can do on a Mac. So you may want to allot some time to go down to the computer lab if you don't have access to a traditional PC. There are 5 exams we will take for this class: General Technology, Word, Excel, Access, and PowerPoint. Every single one of these exams must be passed with a 70% or better, or you cannot pass the class. You have to pass all 5 of them 70% or better. Now that may sound scary right now, but at the end of the day when you get to the exams, you have 5 attempts on the exams. They're set up just like the grader projects. When you get into that, you'll understand how that works. So please don't fear that. Really, the grade you get in this class is the grade you choose to get. All of the homework, or most of the homework, have unlimited attempts on them. Like I just said, the exams have 5 attempts. It's really up to you what grade you want to have in this class. But do make sure you do have to have 70% on every single exam. Here's my breakdown for your grades. 90% to 100% is an A, and so on. Tests and quizzes are worth 50%. Homework and participation is worth 30%, and the projects are worth 20%. Now, in this class, we will be using Blackboard as well as my IT Lab. This does leave things to be just a little bit confusing. In the schedule and inside Blackboard, I've tried to really clearly outline where things are due, where you're turning things in, where you're completing assignments. So pay attention to that schedule in particular. What I do want to tell you is that I will keep the grade book inside of my IT Lab. It's just easier since most of our assignments run directly through there. Now, there are some assignments that get completed in Blackboard, but you will see them in the gradebook in my IT Lab because I'm keeping every assignment, all the grades, inside my IT Lab. If you see an assignment in my IT Lab that has a B in parentheses, B for Blackboard, that means that assignment was supposed to be completed in Blackboard. You do not need to do anything in my IT Lab. I will put the grade into that column as soon as I have it graded. So if it has a B next to the name, we just do it in Blackboard. Otherwise, everything gets completed inside my IT Lab. Communication. I'll be giving you feedback throughout the semester. Usually inside my IT Lab, you can click on the assignment and view comments there. And if you need to get a hold of me, there are two basic ways. You can use the discussion board. There'll be other discussion boards that open up throughout the class, or if you have a specific question about Word, you can ask a question there. But if you have a basic question about the class or what's going on or where some things due, things like that, the Ask the Instructor discussion board's great because other students can see my response to that. If you do need to get a hold of me specifically, you can send me an email. I typically respond to email fairly quickly, and that's the best way to get a hold of me, but you can call me as well. Absences don't really pertain to this class. Late assignments, no assignments are accepted late, so just make sure you have them on time. Like I said, your assignments are open for at least 9 days, so you should have plenty of time to get those completed, and it is over the course of 2 weekends in case you need that weekend time. I do not add students to my social networking sites, but I have started adding students to LinkedIn. If you do want to get a hold of me and contact me through there, I am happy to accept you through LinkedIn, just not Facebook and other places like that. This is an online class, and so everything pretty much is text-based, so just keep in mind when you write your sentences, go back and read through them, make sure they sound correct. It can be really easy to come across really strong in just reading text and not getting the intonation of voice and all of that. So just be aware that other people are reading what you're writing, and make sure it's pleasant, and make sure people know if you're actually being sarcastic, things like that. Alright, this class is not a self-study or online correspondence course. There are things that are due during the week. Most of the assignments are due on Sunday. Some assignments are due by Wednesday, mostly the blogs, things like that. This isn't something you can just start and finish when you feel like it. There are week-to-week things, and the folders will open up each week. So just keep that in mind. You need to be active and logging in throughout the week and getting your homework done. Now, this course is not easier or less time-consuming than an on-campus class. Please keep that in mind. It is recommended that you set aside 3 to 4 hours per week for each credit hour. And I forgot to switch this. I'm sorry, I didn't save my last document. So we have 3 credit hours. For a regular 16-week course, that means you would spend between 9 and 12 hours each week working on class. Now, because this is a summer course and we're doing it in 8, that's doubled, which means you probably will be spending between 18 and 24 hours. Realistically, it's really between 15 and 20, and I'm not kidding. The first week, you probably want to set that much time aside. This is an online class, and that really is how much time, especially in the summer when we're moving very, very quickly. As I've mentioned before, late assignments are not accepted. Just to reiterate, all exams must be passed by 70% or better, so just make sure that you are watching that as you work through your exams. Record keeping, please make sure, we don't really have copies of assignments anymore, they're all digital, but make sure you have them saved somewhere. I highly recommend either using OneDrive or another online cloud component to save your work in, because there's nothing worse than losing your work. The online components have been really, really nice, those cloud-based systems. You should check your grades. Make sure you check them inside my IT Lab in that custom view section. If a grade goes untested for a period of 2 weeks, it is considered correct and permanent. Behavioral expectations, I just expect you to be courteous and nice to the other people in class, be respectful of their comments, and their work. And then academic dishonesty. Please make sure that the work you turn in is in fact your work. Now, I will tell you that my IT lab does notify me if two students turn in the same file. I have had this happen in the past for a variety of different reasons, but it does flag me if it's the same assignment, and trust me, it knows. It's crazy. So just make sure that you are in fact turning in your own work, and that's not just for students that are in my particular class at this time. It's for all students everywhere across the United States. So just make sure that you are turning in your own stuff. Also, when you're writing your research paper, make sure you understand how to do sources and citations. You can use the Writing Center if you need to. I have caught students turning in papers that were not their own, and it's not fun for anybody. So please do your own work, and it's the best for you, since you're paying to get the most out of this class that you can. So as always, if you have any questions, please let me know, and you can shoot me an email, and I look forward to working with you all.